Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, articles, notes, research, whatever you've got, and really dig in to find those fascinating insights. Basically, we give you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed.
Exactly.
Today, we're embarking on, well, a truly monumental journey. We're pulling some really interesting nuggets from the material you gave us, focusing on a specific, dramatic bit of ancient text, Genesis chapter 6, verses 10 through 15.
Right. This is where a huge plan starts taking shape.
It involves Noah, a world described as deeply corrupt, and some incredibly detailed building instruction.
Very detailed.
So our mission today is to unpack the layers here. We're looking at societal breakdown, divine blueprints, and trying to figure out why these ancient details, still resonate. Okay. All right, let's unpack this. We start with Noah. He's introduced, and right away hear about his three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the source material really emphasizes these three are going to be profoundly important, not just for the flood story itself, but as the ancestors of all the nations that come after the flood.
Yeah, that's a major theme later in Genesis 10, isn't it? The table of nations, it's basically setting that up.
Exactly. A kind of genealogical map for the post-flood world.
But what's fascinating here, really striking, is the contrast. You have this lineage of hope starting, right? But then there's the state of the world.
Oh, yeah.
The text describes the earth as corrupt in God's sight and full of violence. And this isn't just, individual failings, it's society itself, complete disarray.
And here's something that really jumped out at me from the sources, the specific word used for violence in the original Hebrew. It's Hamas.
That's right, Hamas.
And the material is clear. This isn't just like physical punch-ups. It's much broader.
Much broader. It covers injustice, oppression, deep-seated chaos. It really paints this picture of a world just unraveling, completely unraveling at the seams.
Wow.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really highlights God's perspective in the narrative. The text keeps saying, God saw how corrupt the earth had become.
Right. It emphasizes the seeing.
Exactly. It suggests a God who isn't distant or unaware, but someone deeply involved and actually grieved by what's happening, how people are treating each other.
Which really raises a big question, doesn't it? What does it mean when the divine is portrayed as being so personally invested in justice in human behavior?
It's a profound theological point.
So this deep involvement, this divine grief you mentioned, it leads to a huge decision, a monumental one. God says effectively, I am going to put an end to all people because the earth is filled with this Hamas, this violence because of them. I'm going to destroy both them and the earth.
It sounds incredibly harsh, a moment of profound judgment.
It absolutely is. But the material points out it's also framed as an invitation for Noah into a plan for something totally new, a new beginning.
And that new beginning, interestingly, comes with some very practical instructions, almost like architectural plans.
Yeah, it gets surprisingly specific. God tells Noah, make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch inside and out.
Cypress wood. Rooms, pitch. The details matter.
And here's a linguistic bit I found really amazing in the sources. The word for ark in Hebrew, it's tibah.
Tibah.
That word, it's only used one other time in the entire Old Testament. Any guesses?
I think I know this one. Is it Moses?
Yes, for the little basket that saved baby Moses from the Nile.
Wow. That connection is powerful.
Isn't it? The sources highlight this. Both the massive ark and the tiny basket are described as these vessels of salvation in a time of real danger.
Vessels of salvation. I like that. And the scale of Noah's vessel. Just astonishing. The divine blueprint gives these very precise dimensions.
Okay, lay them on us.
300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Now, a cubit is an old measurement, roughly elbow to fingertip.
So let's translate that. The sources give the modern equivalents. Roughly 450 feet long.
Huge.
75 feet wide and 45 feet high.
Yeah.
I mean, picture that. That's not a boat. It's like a modern cargo ship, basically.
Pretty much. And built for one purpose. Survival. Floating. Not for sailing somewhere specific.
It does sound kind of impossible, though, for one guy and his family, right? Did the source material touch on, the practicalities? How could they even do that?
Well, that's a great point, and it ties into why the text might give such immense detail. The sources suggest God isn't just saying, build a big boat, good luck.
Right.
Instead, God provides this precise blueprint, a clear plan. And crucially, it implies that the resources needed for the task will also be provided.
Ah, okay.
It sort of highlights this idea. When you're called to do something massive, maybe impossible seeming, you're also equipped for it. even if you can't see how at first.
So it's not just about the what, but the how being implicitly covered too.
Perhaps. It's about trust in the provision as much as the instruction.
So stepping back from the blueprints for a second.
Yeah.
What does this all really mean? The material brings up a really powerful point about faith. It's not just about believing something in your head. It's profoundly about obedience.
Yeah.
Action.
Directive faith, yes.
Noah had to trust God enough to actually follow these incredibly intricate instructions day in, day out, even when, as sources point out, it must have seemed completely nuts to everyone else around him.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine the neighbors. You have to wonder, like you said, did he have moments of doubt, hammering away on this enormous thing for years potentially?
It connects faith directly to action, persistent physical action, maybe against all common sense at the time.
Exactly. And maybe that suggests that sometimes the biggest acts of faith aren't grand pronouncements, but they're found in the concrete details, the daily grind of building something according to a plan you've been given, even if it seems overwhelming.
So as we sort of wrap up this section, what really stands out are these incredible details. The ark's size, the meaning of Hamas, that linguistic link with Peba.
And underlying it all, this dynamic of divine instruction, divine provision, meeting human obedience, even in the face of impossibility.
Yeah, it's quite a picture.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture for you, our listener, this deep dive really shows us a couple of things. First, a divine perspective that acknowledges the brokenness, the Hamas in the world.
But also sees potential for completely new beginnings.
Right. And second, it reveals a universe, or at least a narrative, where sometimes you get incredibly specific guidance for tasks that seem, well, impossible.
So what does this mean for you? Maybe think about it this way. As you navigate your own world, with all its complexities and maybe its own kinds of brokenness, where do you see that? And where might you be called to build something new? Maybe an ark of your own, metaphorically speaking. Perhaps it's not some giant project.
Maybe not.
Maybe your arc is about following the small, detailed steps you feel called to take. The seemingly mundane things, even when the bigger picture feels overwhelming or impossible.
Like focusing on the next plank, the next coat of pitch, trusting it's part of a larger design.
Exactly. Consider how often we might actually be given a detailed blueprint, maybe not for the whole ship, but for the next step.
Yeah.
And think about the impact of just choosing to obey, to act on that instruction.
It's a challenge of faith in action.
Definitely something to think about. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and, well, keep the faith.